So have you shown those to plaintiff's counsel?
No,
Why not?
we only got this evidence in the last.
What?
We only got this in the last. I apologize for the late. We've been waiting.
So we're going to sit up here and discuss something that plaintiff's counsel hasn't seen. Is that fair?
Understood.
No. Is that fair?
I can see.
Is that fair? That's really a yes or no question. Sycamore Meadows versus Autumn Meadows. Or Meadow.
Query is named in P67390 on behalf of the plaintiff.
Good morning, Judge. Emily Rule, Legal Services, requesting permission to appear under Rule 1.820. Under the supervision of the
Permission to practice is granted. You think now she would get it. Anyway, all right. What are we doing on this one?
Judge, on this one, the research was completed. Last time we adjourned to get the interim research done. The interim research was completed by my client. I've updated the ledger. I'm showing that rent is still due in the amount of $5,061.89. There's court costs of $204, so the total is $5,265.89. If you recall, last time there was discussion about the water being in the basement, but it was coming from the washer. Ms. Meadows wanted compensation for the items that she claims were ruined in that. If Judge, this wasn't really brought before the court until that December date. No counter complaint was actually filed. My client, when they sign the lease with Ms. Meadows, recommends that she gets renter's insurance. It's not mandatory, but recommends. She never made a claim with my client regarding damage to any of that personal property. There was testimony even at that time, briefly, that the water was coming from the washer or the drain. It wasn't draining properly. My client, I have maintenance here, but we had discussed it, I think, enough. So I would argue that there is no reason to have an abatement at this time. She can always file a small claims case if she finds that appropriate. We're not taking her rights away, but I'm asking for a judgment to be entered in the amounts that I prayed.
So just to respond, so there was a counter complaint filed. I'm not sure. Were you able to send that to a counsel when you filed? Okay. Oh, okay. So you give a copy to the book. I know I gave it to my agent. Okay, so it was in her file, but she did not know that she needed to send it to opposing counsel.
However, Judge, the council's just bringing this forth now in this January. This has been pending since July. I don't know about a counter complaint. I don't know about an answer. It was never brought forth in any of the discussions on this file until today, when I told counsel that my position as to any kind of abatement at this point. And again, I would still make the argument that,
I do also want to just put on the record that the flood that damaged the items that we are claiming for did occur before Ms. Meadows ever used the washer and dryer that had been installed in her basement.
Occurred before?
Yes, it happened before. She went down to the basement to go use her washer for the first time, and she discovered the flood.
Well, when was the washer installed?
Do you remember when the washer was installed? So we can look at the text that we have of your father.
Both sides here.
Your Honor, I know what this rule is looking for is there's a contemporaneous text between Miss Meadows and her father, where she says that she went down in the basement to use the washer, and that the basement was flooded.
So yeah, and that occurred on March 8th.
March 8th of 2024. 2023. Okay, so from the point of the washer install forward, the basement is flooded?
It always has water in it, yes.
But I do want to clarify that things were damaged.
Pardon?
I do want to clarify that things were damaged before that. And actually, did you ever?
No, I heard you.
Okay.
But so between that time after the washer's installed and the, I guess this claim or this period in time, was the landlord notified of the flooding?
Yes.
I can tell you, I spoke with my client and the two maintenance men that are here. Since my client has taken over, there has never been one maintenance request for water in the basement. The maintenance man that is here, I spoke with him briefly before we came in here. The only maintenance requests that we have are no heat, like in furnace. And the last time he was there, which was either end of November, beginning of December, he saw water in the basement. And he asked Miss Meadows, where's this coming from? Why is there water? And she says it's because, and the washer was running at the time. It was from the washer. The maintenance man then did a repair so that he could run a new pipe for the water. He can explain that better if you want him to explain what he did. But to our knowledge, there has been no maintenance request for water in the basement. So, and he has been with Sycamore for 7 years, Judge.
So he was there before the
He was
new
there
management
before.
before.
He was there
That's
before.
was going to be my next question.
Yes.
So we do have texts with the maintenance person from old management about the basement flooding.
But again, I haven't seen those yet either. Which,
Do you? Does she have any cases? Well, I mean, is there any correspondence or anything to the, no. Any correspondence or anything to the landlord regarding these damages or anything prior to this?
There was an email briefly mentioned in August. I can hold on.
I think that was an email from council to me, but is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Okay, but I guess maybe I'll put it this way. Before the attorneys got involved, when everything's peaceful, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Did the tenant communicate with the landlord that there's a problem?
To my knowledge, and that was a question I asked as well, Judge, to my client, and all three of them have said no.
You mentioned to me that you had.
I've called several times and they never answered the phone.
And
Okay, hold on. But at some point, what you're indicating is that there's water in my basement. I call, no one's answering, is what you're telling me. I'm presuming then you continue to call. At some point, somebody answers, do they?
At Sycamore Meadows? No.
Okay, did you put anything in writing to them?
you have the text of the.
I have this, okay, so the last Sycamore Meadows guy, I would text Rob. And in that situation where
Who the heck is Rob?
the old maintenance man, and even when the maintenance man just came in, when he just shared how he walked in and there was a water all over the floor, he literally said, Rob didn't fix this the way he was supposed to, which was the old maintenance man. And
Mr.
even the communication between new maintenance and new leasing, we didn't know.
The maintenance man that she's discussing is, he's been deceased now for 2 years.
Rob is not deceased.
Ron or Rob?
Rob? Robert, the same guy that you said, hey, he didn't fix this when you walked in?
I didn't say that.
I'm talking to the maintenance guy, sorry.
Okay, who installed the washer?
She did. It's her washer, Judge.
So Your Honor, the washer that is currently in there was installed by Ventuson.
Rent a center.
So, okay. So let me ask this. Is everybody in agreement that it's the washer that's causing the flooding?
No, Your Honor, because the first flood occurred before any washer was used.
But was that reported? I mean, it's one thing to come here and tell me we had flooding 2022, but is there a report of that?
There has to be, yes, my whole strip has flooding issues.
I'm not talking about your whole strip. I'm talking about, was there a report of flooding in your unit? Did you report that to management?
Yes.
Did you do that in writing?
When
Did somebody come out after you reported?
Came out. Yes.
And did what, to your understanding?
When he drained the snake or whatever was causing it, and he had to go to sorry to bring it up, the neighbor's house because theirs was draining as well.
Okay.
But
So So, all right. In the very first time that you noticed the flooding, is that when some of these items were damaged?
yes,
Okay. So then my question becomes, after that point, there was another flood, you're saying, correct? Were items damaged during that flood?
yes,
Okay. Was there another flood?
yes.
And were items damaged during that flood? Okay. So at some point, the problem's going to be if the claim goes forward. After the first flood, she's going to have mitigation issues because she can't just.
This is a huge legal concept, mitigation. Even if someone has a legitimate claim for damages, they generally can't ignore a known problem and then keep accumulating losses without taking reasonable steps to reduce them. The judge isn't deciding the case yet, but he's warning that this issue could seriously affect the damages claim.
Do the same thing and then expect damages. There's also going to be a question of, well, let me ask it this way before I say there's a question. What does plaintiff or what does defendant have to say it's not the wash?
So most of the repairs that we are seeking compensation for occurred in that first flood before the washer was ever used. Additionally, if she was told it was fixed after the first flood, then that.
I didn't ask about your mitigation.
Okay.
I asked, my question is, what proofs do you have as to the cause of this water?
Only that it occurred before the washer was ever used and in fact damaged the washer so much that that washer was never used.
So other than there being water there, how are you attributing this to the landlord?
There, and I would just argue that Ms. Meadows was offered a habitable.
Pardon?
Ms. Meadows was offered a habitable building, including a basement that would not be in water, and there was water, and so that was.
No, but I mean, maybe I'll structure it this way. There can be a circumstance where the landlord, tenant calls, they don't take care of it, landlord could presumably then be responsible. There could be a circumstance where the landlord doesn't do something and then it causes something to happen and then the landlord will be responsible.
So, Your Honor, our response to that would be that the whole unit and whole building has significant water issues and that the landlord has been on notice of that, and also the fact that numerous maintenance requests are put in and no one is answering.
Yeah, but what kind of water issues?
I sent this all to the court. They came in and fixed it, and I believe they know what I'm talking about. I was having issues with my shower upstairs. It was water coming down from the kitchen, and it was all in the basement. There's plumbing issues in that whole building.
Okay, but that's,
The reason why I am asking why I'm blaming the landlord is because the washer and dryer that I'm paying for now from Rent Center, I should not even have to pay for because of the first flood. And they just fixed this water damage.
what does that mean? You shouldn't have to pay for it.
Because she had a washer, but then that washer was damaged in the first flood, so she had to get a new washer that she still made payments on.
Okay, so let me just ask this. That first flood, how much water are we talking?
Up to my past.
And you're saying that damaged your wash?
Yes.
And what proofs are you going to give to the court to show that?
That is a broken washer and dryer that I'm paying for Rent Center right now.
No, that I just see significant proof problems because you're telling me that a washer and a dryer got damaged. I'm presuming you don't have those.
Still in the basement.
The old ones are. Is there anybody that has said that damage, that this flooding damaged that washer and dryer?
The old crew from the leasing office. The old leasing office crew.
Can I just,
Said what?
When I told them about it and when I was telling them how I was having broken items from the flood, they were like, well,
Hold on a second. So I thought that there wasn't a washer and dryer before the new washer and dryer.
there was a washer and dryer down there. That's why I'm so,
That was operational.
yes.
But it had never been
I've
operated.
never used it.
It was installed, it had never been used because of the flood that broke it.
I never could use anything in the house because of the bed bugs. Let's start there.
So there was a washer and dryer in the basement. There's always been a washer and dryer.
From my old house, yes. I moved my washer and dryer that I had from my old house to my new house.
I'm not really, I don't know that I care about that. Because I was told there wasn't one, and now I'm told there was one down there. But now you're saying there was one down there and it was never used.
Yes, Your Honor.
it was hers though. It was not my client's. It was hers. And she just said that it was hers from another unit.
So was it hooked up and installed?
No, the first 3 months of me staying in my home, I could not even use my house because I had bed bugs.
But it had been hooked up, right, by your dad? but
My dad
hadn't
hooked
been
it up,
used.
yeah, it hadn't been used.
I think the last time we were here, one of the issues was there wasn't netting on the drain house,
That's correct, Judge.
right?
Which we weren't sure if there was or not, right? But you were going
I
to
think
ask.
it was said it
No, she
wasn't.
said she didn't. Yeah, she
There
said she
wasn't
didn't
one.
put anything on it.
On the hose.
Right.
Not that I can remember. I don't even know what that is. Or something.
Well, but if you're there and using it, you would know because you would have to change it occasionally.
Okay.
Right, so there was not something on the face of the very
No.
Okay.
So I guess I get back again. If now there's a washer that's down there that's hooked up, but you're saying not used,
Currently, there is a washer that is being used.
No, but now you're saying, before you said to me there wasn't a washer, that the floods were occurring before there was a washer and dryer.
The floods occurred before the washer and dryer were used, but when they were present in there.
Okay, that's not what you said before, but I now understand. That's what's being said. And you're saying the flooding just happened. I have nothing in writing from the tenant saying that notifying the landlord of this flood.
Correct. It was notified over the phone.
Over the phone, text messaging.
Okay, so listen to what I just said. There's nothing in writing to the landlord informing them of this flood.
I know you had texts later. What did you have texts on what? Okay, we don't believe so, Your Honor.
Well, that's not a statement. You don't believe so, but she would have been the one putting it in writing. So
Right.
did she or didn't she?
Do you remember whether or not you texted the landlord? It's okay if you don't remember, it's okay.
So always just text them. Anytime there's water, I just would text them. I would text Rob. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, can you,
What I
can
said
you,
writing.
can you check, can you text the girl?
What are we doing now?
We're checking her texts with the repair person, Rob, to see if there is something in writing.
In writing.
Yeah, so we're looking for something from March of 2020. I don't know if she would have had his number back then. I can't see the page. Okay, so there were not text messages on March 8th. There were just.
I'm sorry, there was no text message. So then I'm going to ask the question, if you have the number to text, why didn't, if there's water in your basement as high as you're saying it is, why wouldn't you text the person?
Did you have the number to text at that point?
I would just call me, like I would call the emergency.
Folks,
That was,
no, listen to my question. At some point, you just checked about text messages.
yes.
And so you're telling me that this water is somewhere up to your knee in the basement. You called. My question is, why didn't you text?
I don't, this was right after she moved in. I don't believe that she knew that she could text or knew what number to
Yes,
text.
if you're talking about March 2022, like why, I didn't have his number at that point. The last time I was able to text him was in May when I had got the bed bugs cleared. That's when I got his number, May.
Okay, so now I'll ask the question, when did you get the number to text?
May, when the bed bugs came in, when they finally.
May of what?
22,
2023?
2023, I'm sorry.
And then there was flooding after that.
Yes,
Is there a text message regarding that flood?
yes,
Okay, did somebody come out?
yes.
Did they abate the flooding?
They removed all the water and they cleaned up down there, yes.
Have you seen those text messages?
No,
Scary.
no, Judge. I was forwarded a copy of the answer while you walked in, Judge, so
Pardon?
I was forwarded a copy of the answer that was,
So you just got that.
yes, Judge. Again,
Did you get the photos with it?
it's in an email, but it
So
literally is,
you
of
haven't looked at it.
course not, Judge. You were walking in, I stood up.
I do have.
Problem I
You're
have,
gonna
though-
blame me?
Hmm?
No.
problem I have is, well, everything.
Go ahead.
Everything that I delineated before. I have maintenances here. They can tell you that there's been no maintenance for water requests. My maintenance man actually saw the water and that's when he repaired it. Just this year, 2024.
In 2024.
Yes. But he's been there for 7 years, so he's been there the whole time.
So we did report the recent flooding in, December 4th. I know that
December 4th of,
of this year. So that is very late in the game, but just confirming that they did at least have that report coming from us.
okay, but understand something.
I also have the texts from May of, oh, you were right, it was May of 2022. I'm sorry.
So what was that?
So these are texts from the Meadows to Sycamore Maine, reporting the flooding in her basement.
In 2022?
Yes,
Who is that to?
from Sycamore Maine. Do you know last name? I'm not so sure.
No.
Okay, so folks, not saying that you are, but we don't do trial by ambush. We also don't do final settlement conference by ambush. So have you shown those to plaintiff's counsel?
No, we only.
Why not?
We only got this evidence in the last.
What?
We only got this in the last. I apologize for the wait. We've been. The way.
So we're going to sit up here and discuss something that plaintiff's counsel hasn't seen. Is that fair?
Understood.
No. Is that fair?
I can see.
Is that fair? That's really a yes or no question.
No.
Thank you. Why don't we get that over to her? I'm going to pass the matter.
Judge, I don't,
I'll get right back to you. I'm not going to
Okay,
hold your
okay.
people here all day.
I appreciate, I have another.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe I will hold them here all day.
you can hold them, but I have
I've-
to be in court in Farmington Hills at 10:30, so.
They'll wait. All right. Get those and make the copies so we don't even have that issue. All right, we'll get that. I'm going to call
The
you.
next one is really quick. We're gonna just.
Why didn't
turn
you
that.
let me go? Why didn't you let me lead with that?
You have the patience of a saint.
What do you say?
You have the patience of a saint.
I don't know. I have my moments. Recall Sycamore Meadows versus Meadow.
Hearing Dan on behalf of plaintiffs.
Okay.
I've reviewed the text message from speaking with management. At that time, there was actually a portal that maintenance requests were supposed to be put in and only in the portal. Yes, I can see the text message. But my other concern, Judge, is that this was in 2022, why she didn't make a claim with the management that was there of all the other issues. You're now trying to come against the new management that has, been on top of things. It seems disingenuous, Judge, to me. But I mean, the text message is the text message. I don't know that this is actually Sycamore. It just says Sycamore maintenance guy. It doesn't show me the phone number. I can't verify it. Those are all the things that I see in this text message, but bottom line, there was a portal. Maintenance requests were to be put in the portal, not in a text message. And again, these claims should have been made with that management. And it was her washer that was put in the basement first time. I don't know what happened. And it is what it is at this point.
Gotcha.
Your Honor, I'm so sorry. I know that you want this to move quickly, but could I have 5 minutes to speak with my client?
5 minutes. What were we doing while I was doing the other cases?
We were having a conversation.
Okay, let me just do it this way, because I'm not going to hold them up. If saying it has to be someplace else, and I'm not sure, even after talking to your client, that we're going to get anywhere today. I want whatever information, paperwork you have regarding any of your claims to get to plaintiff. I think that's the first place we have to start. And then from there, then I'm going to reset the final settlement conference so that it can be something that is meaningful. I think from the defense side, one of the things you're going to have to look at is supposedly she's having these issues, but rent in some form or another is being paid. the court has grave concerns regarding the lack of sort of notification to management in it, as well as I'm not, the amount of damages. I mean, there's going to be the mitigation issue, certainly, but there's also going to be, I'd like to see what damages you're claiming.
I do have that here if you want. Okay.
But
Make sure everything is sent over.
right, because and the thing is that if I have an old washer, and I just want to make this point, if I have an old washer and dryer and that somehow there's a claim for damages, it's not the price, that the damages would not be the price of that washer and dryer today. Right? It's also not as, I don't know. Ms. Meadow makes a claim that somehow or another she's paying for this through rent. I don't know that those are damages to her. And so you're going to have to show that to me.
And now the judge tackles another major damages issue: value. If an older washer, dryer, couch, or other personal property is damaged, the court doesn't automatically assume the claimant gets the original purchase price. The age, condition, depreciation, and actual loss can all matter. So even if liability is eventually proven, the amount of money awarded is still a completely separate battle.
I mean, I have no idea whether or not that washer and dryer that was down there would have broken down the next year, and because I don't know anything about it. So I think whatever damages you're claiming, you're going to have a basis to claim those damages. Anything that is personal property, so that you also understand, so that people's expectations can be put someplace correctly. If I buy a new couch, the moment I take it out and somebody sits on that couch, it's not worth what I just paid for. And so as each day goes by, the value of that goes down significantly, especially regarding furniture and regarding other property. So that ought to be kept in mind. How much time are you going to need to get all the information, plaintiff?
Judge, do you want us just to come back on the 28th with the other one? Is that okay with you or no?
That was a whine. She whined at me.
No.
She does that. No, she's looking at her scheduling. Would the 28th work for you guys? I'll adjourn this January 28th, 2025, 9 a.m.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, folks.
In the end, Judge Simpson did not decide the final dispute over the money at this hearing. Instead, the court reset the matter for January 28, 2025, because both sides still needed to exchange and review the evidence properly. The tenant now faces major hurdles: proving notice to management, establishing what actually caused the flooding, showing that the landlord was legally responsible, and documenting the real value of the damaged property. The judge also raised mitigation concerns. After repeated flooding, a party may be expected to take reasonable steps to prevent additional losses. Meanwhile, the landlord is still pursuing claimed unpaid rent and court costs, while the tenant is trying to establish potential offsets or damages. This is a perfect example of how a case can turn less on who tells the most emotional story and more on who can prove it with records. If you enjoyed this courtroom breakdown, hit like, share your opinion in the comments, and subscribe for more real courtroom drama and legal analysis.